Welcome to Giant Radio, where we're all about big ideas in sales and marketing and eye-popping discussions with successful entrepreneurs. Turn up the volume and settle in. Now, here's the founder of Giant Jacks Media and your host, Paul Hitchcock.
Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. Welcome to Giant TV. I'm the president and founder of Giant Jacks Media. We help others to grow and nurture their businesses, and very, very excited to have my guest here, Connie Osterholt. Dr. Connie Osterholt, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to get into this because you and I were talking offline. You've got such an incredible background and history. So let's go into this. What are you focused on right now in your business?
Well, my business has been, my focus has been the same for the past 30 years, I guess, 25, 30 years. It's all you help people create and expand their businesses, right? I help people create their new identity and expand their identity so they can be more successful in their businesses and in life. So it's, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Connie, and this is these are business owners, executive team members. Who are you working primarily with?
Yeah, business owners, entrepreneurs, and the highest management level, the executive level.
Okay, of any industry niche, or do you have a particular area?
No, I do not. And I get my clients still just by referrals, which is amazing.
That's great.
Because I traveled so much, I have a network that spans the world.
Yep.
So, and it's great that I can work in the different time zones, right? So I start with Europe, and then I go to America, and then I do Australia, and then there's some Asia in between. But it's predominantly, how I say it simply is, your subconscious mind is beautiful. It takes care of everything, so we don't have to think of everything, because we can only think of 5 to 6 things at the same time. So the subconscious mind is driving you almost 95% in the day, 95%. So that means there's a whole load of patterns like stored. There's no judge. If it looks the same, that pattern is kicking in. And those patterns are stored from young on. It can be 2 or 14 or 20. And when you're not that age anymore, it might not be appropriate. So when we look at those patterns and we look at the impact, then they can choose, well, do I want to keep it? Or do I want to change it? And mostly they want to change it. So I assist with that change. So you are free of like involuntary responses to life, to business, decision-making, but you're really present and know how to make those decisions, responses as best as you can. Does that make sense? If I'm not making sense, you jump in, right?
No, I love it. I mean, I love it. And I was checking out, as you and I were talking, your website before we went live here. And so if I understand you, then when you're working with people, is it these leaders both on the business and personal side? Because when you said there's preconceived idea, things about your personality, that sounds personal to me. But the two are mixed, right, in a business environment?
The two are totally mixed, because the better function or the more optimal function human being you are, the better you can do business.
Yeah.
So and I do business problems as well, and teams, and the business problems are usually in communication and leadership. But if you free yourself up to make the best decision possible at any moment, your business will thrive. So there is a saying, I don't know who said that, but the chokehold of most businesses is their business owner or the one in charge. So if you resolve all of that, then there is a whole new world opening for them.
Is that because somebody comes to you because there are issues at the business and there's problems they're aware of, they come to you, and then you're starting to unpack what's going on, what are the problems, and how is the person you're working with impacting those issues, and what are some of the problems?
Well, and I do some personal work as well, because we have both sides, right? We have our life and we have our business. And some of the problems, and I already mentioned, it's often leadership, it's often communication, it's often people like to abdicate instead of leverage people to do things. So there's an art to it.
Yeah.
And often there is like maybe a code of conduct that is not present in a company. So they don't know how to guide their people in order to get the best out of them or to have them all on the same page. So
Interesting.
it's like I'm working more with the human material and the human approach in their clients, in their own team, and within themselves.
Yeah, I love that. And when you're working with teams, what does that look like? I mean, you go into a business and meet with the team all at once, and are people, receptive to what you're talking about, or do you encounter resistance?
So the owner or the person I'm working with is always receptive, right? And then
Yeah,
you work with the team. So it's a variety. It
yeah.
depends highly on how the person introducing me, on how they're introducing me.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
if they make it mandatory and you have to be there and your performance is really bad, so we bring in this expert to make it all better, that's not a good
No good.
image to start with, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
we work on how to introduce me. And I've had it all. I have teams that were fantastic and really enthusiastic. I had teams that were hostile, not all of them, but some of them. And I
Hmm.
had the whole gamut in between. So, and you learn to work. I mean, you don't get to our age without like learning to work with difficult people, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love hecklers and I know how to deal with them. So
Oh, you're stronger than me. I don't like the heckling. I don't like it. And then is there, well, first of all, let's hear a little bit about your background because you've got a very interesting background. You're from the Netherlands, and
yeah,
tell us about coming here. When was that?
that was in 2009, 2008, 2009. Yes.
Hmm.
And I worked since 1996 with a couple of American companies already.
Hmm.
And the Netherlands is a 9-hour difference with California. So that is not very handy at times, how you
Yeah.
have a small window how to work with people. And my kids, very important, they needed to be done with their education and all of that and be on their own 2 feet, which
Yeah.
in the Netherlands with 18, they leave the house. It's slightly different than here in California. They're
Yeah, it
done,
should
they're
be that
going,
way here. Yeah. Get
Yeah,
out.
exactly. And, all of that. And I did a short period in the Philippines due to circumstances, and that was not a country to live in for me. It was nice to visit, but that's all. And then I had a choice. Do I go back to the Netherlands or do I try it here? And
Hmm.
I'm a person that always moves forwards, seldom moves backward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was going, let me try it out. Let me see if I like it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a while ago.
Yeah. You
So I
stayed
liked
in
it.
you're in Los Angeles area.
And it was
Uh,
predominantly for business, but also because I was part of such a traveling team. I worked with Tony Robbins and I spoke on these platforms for many, many, many years. So my friends were that traveling team. They were all over the world as well, and a lot of them in America. That was a combination of business hours, business opportunities, and my friends lived here.
Yeah, that's interesting because I noticed in your profile you attended a Tony Robbins conference. I would say obviously probably the springboard for you getting involved with the organization at some
Yeah.
level. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I had fantastic chances there because as you hear, I still have a slight accent. I decided to keep it. And for a woman not from America with an accent to speak on Tony Robbins' platform was quite a feat. Was
awesome,
quite nicely, yeah, was
awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah, and so when you're working with businesses and owners, how long does the engagement last?
I have clients that are with me for a really long time, 20 plus years.
Why so long?
And
Why so long?
because there's so much going on with them. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, yeah, it could be because they're growing and changing, and
Yeah,
you're just moving.
no,
Yeah.
it's twofold. I have some clients and we worked very intensely for a couple of years, and now they come in when there is a challenge, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I have people who like to check in twice a month,
Yeah.
and they like to check in and be how do you say that? Preemptive, proactive,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
go and make sure that nothing is going on. So I have those two types. And I like that, because
Yeah.
I know them, I know their business in and out. So it's quite quickly that you can put solutions in place and help them out, and then they go along.
Yeah.
So I like my long-term clients, but usually an engagement is for about a year, twice a month.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is the general population. And then I have like two handfuls of clients who stay with me all the time, which I like.
Yeah, love it. And you've got to be a good listener, right? I mean, when people are
Yes.
coming, you just got to kind of zip this, right? Open these up. Is that
You have to
what you're
listen
doing?
and really listen, because often we listen while the brain is going, okay, let me find solutions, or let me just be proactive and what
Yeah,
he might want to hear or might want to know. So you have to just blank all of that and really, really listen.
that's
So
a
I
great,
often make like notes, not like extensive, but keywords
yeah, yeah.
to remember what I need to dig into.
Yeah, that's a great point because the art of listening to me is a skill in many ways.
Yeah,
And what
yeah,
you just said is prescient because people, when they listen, they're just thinking about how to respond right away. They're not thinking about a deeper question they can ask to get to the root of the issue the person's telling them about. So
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Well, I want to tell everyone listening that wherever you're watching this, because we simulcast this on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, maybe it goes everywhere. So Connie's information is going to be around this video. Maybe it's up here, down here. We're going to put website, LinkedIn profile. I highly encourage you to get connected to Connie, and because I've seen the content you put out. It's awesome on
Thank you.
your feed there. Yeah, it's great. So, and I imagined if someone's interested in learning more about what you're doing, you have an initial sort of complimentary session you'll do?
Some people skip that, to my amazement. I love it. They say, okay,
Yeah,
send me the bill right away. So that is fantastic.
of
But
course.
usually I have, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes in intake. Let's see if we can work together. And, it's my preference, it's your preference if we want to work together and we go over what's really going on, what I want to get out of the session. And it's just, the longer, and you must know that too, the longer you work in an area, the better you get at it. And it's easier to see the patterns
Oh
that
yeah.
people are running. So it's with very little information now, I can already like analyze and know where to start and know where to change things around.
Yep. Yep. It's great. Well, thank you, Dr. Osterholt. Thank you everybody for listening. I know you and I will be talking again, so thanks for being here.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay.